Hi, good evening. This is Ramesh. I thought of talking a little bit about our Indian cricket team, which is presently touring South Africa. Well, it's been flattering to deceive, as they say. People expected Indian team to do pretty well, actually, even after getting the number one test tag. So the expectations were that we will win the series. But that hasn't happened, and we have already lost the series, and it is 2-0 down and staring into the barrel. It could very well go on to become 3-0 as well. So now we really don't understand what happens to the Indian cricket team when they just get onto the airplane and get out of the subcontinental conditions and go into, let's say, Africa's or America's or Europe. Okay. Yes, understand that the conditions are going to be different. The ball moves around a little, the ball talks a lot, and then the bowlers also give them the perfume ball. And so you basically, when you go overseas, you don't find the kind of conditions that you have got used to at home. So, but hey, but that's Test cricket, and in a Test cricket, actually, you play for 5 days, and then you have to conquer the conditions, the pitch, the place, the altitude, and etc. and all those things, and then the opposition, of course. So the opposition would have is not going to let you easily kind of play them, and they obviously want to ensure that the host wants to ensure that they win the game for their country, right? So it's definitely not easy. I mean, so that's a given. But then this team, I mean, the present team at least, there has been a kind of a kind of what to say, like right from MS Dhoni, right from Saurav Ganguly's team, they started slowly. They started winning overseas. Okay, that itself was a big achievement because actually we were never even winning a test match. Forget about winning a series. Of course, a couple of times it has happened in the past. I mean, that those have been one-off cases and kind of flash in pans type of thing. A couple of times, once with Ajit Wadekar, once with Rahul Dravid's team, and once earlier with Kapil Dev's team, actually, when they won in England 2-0. So those kind of things happened in the past, but then after that, it has been consistently, we have been very, very bad travelers. So we don't travel well. We don't, when we are bad starters, okay, so we don't start well at all. So the first game usually we lose, and then we go on to lose the second game, and only by the third game or so, we get to understand the conditions and play a little better. So that's been the order of the day. So this time around, actually, people thought that we're going to win the series, but that hasn't happened, and we are again. It has been the same old story as Navjot Singh Sidhu. He very aptly puts it. Actually, it is a kind of cycle stand syndrome. Okay, so because you just push one and then all of the rest fall down, right? So that's exactly the way the Indian cricket, at least the batters, okay, they do that, right? So they see, actually, the first test actually at Newlands, 208 to win the game. Okay, you don't get things that easy anymore. So when you get something like that, you have to make it count. But they let that go, and then we became 1-0 down, 0-1 down, and then they came to Centurion. Now Centurion, actually, people started talking that the Centurion pitch is more like a subcontinental pitch, and so there, and in fact the lateral movement wasn't there at all, and then there was only bounce, and then the bounce also kind of died after the first day or something. So the wicket keeper used to collect the ball below the knee high, right, which generally happens in the Indian context. So that is exactly what was happening. And so like, you have something tailor made for the conditions are tailor made, the pitch is tailor made for the Indian batters to bat out, because we have been bred on such kind of tracks, right? So. So the second test, at least, actually, we should have, won it, and we should have made it 1-all. But then again, actually, the batters, flattered to deceive. The batters decided that actually this is not the game that which we are going to do this thing. And even though there were a few changes in the Indian team, but still it didn't help. So again, it has been the same old story. So 2-0 down, and we don't know how things are going to go from here. So, I only hope that it doesn't. It actually ends with a 2-1. Where Indians finally are able to win one Test match, and then the series ends at 2-1. So at least that will be to some extent actually a happier frame of mind. Indian team will leave the shores of South Africa, and let's not forget that actually they go to England, they go to Australia. So those conditions are going to be very, very tough for them to play over there as well. So it's very easy sitting over here and then talking, or for anybody actually, for any kind on a digital media or a print media, kind of talking about it, that this should have been done, that should have been done, etc., and all that. I'm sure that the international level actually people know exactly what needs to be done. But when that doesn't happen, that is when actually all of us, the cricket lovers and every one of us, actually we get terribly upset, and it is very, very disappointing when we don't make the cut. At least we should be very happy that the bowlers did a tremendous job. So the bowlers, really bowled their heart out. They picked up 40 wickets in four innings so far, right? So two Test matches and 40 wickets. So that's been absolutely good going. And so they in fact actually they haven't allowed South Africa to score more than 340, right? So, a couple of times, three times, I mean, once, two times under 250, they have picked them, and then once under 150, and once actually they have let them cross 300. So that's been a tremendous achievement, because the bowlers also, when they go across and when they suddenly find the conditions that suit them so very well, and when the fast bowlers are able to really make the ball talk, they get overawed by the conditions, and then they just start spraying the ball, and then they get backed all over. So, which didn't happen, at least in this series. So the bowlers have been very, very disciplined. So they have been bowling in the right areas, and you have to ensure that, I mean, you bowl the back of length, and then I mean, so you just don't kind of spray the ball around, right? So now the batters, actually, the bowling is absolutely not the issue at all. So it is only the batting, and it's been that way for a long, long time for Indian, in Indian history, right? When we travel overseas, especially, so that has been the problem area for us. So and people know, I mean, kind of, theoretically, people know that what exactly has to be done. I mean, it's the openers actually who will have to ensure that they see off at least about 20 overs, 20, 25 overs. They have to see off the first couple. I mean the opening bowlers, and then so typically when they bowl about six overs each, and so after 12 overs there will be a change. So they need to also see off the second this thing. So around 20, 24 overs if you play, if the batsman, if the openers stick by, then actually things become a little easier for the number three, number four, number five who come in, and we'll be able to put up a decent score on the this thing. So anything less than about 300 is not a winning total at all. So you definitely have to put across a 300 plus or 350 plus kind of a this thing. So negating the swing to begin with, because generally in the overseas the ball doesn't reverse as much as it reverses in India. So it is only the natural swing. So basically, I mean, you stand about at least a couple, half feet or 1 feet out of the popping crease, and then you'll be able to negate the swing a little better. So the openers will have to see the day for the middle order batsmen to come in and then to score good runs. So that should be the plan going forward. So I hope that actually they do something better in the third test, and then we kind of go, at least we return back, we step out of South Africa with a 2-1 record, instead of a 2-0, or the worst would be the 3-0. I mean, they should at least they should try and win the third test, and if not, at least they should draw the third test. So 2-1 is the most desirable this thing to take out from here. So that's what I thought I'll share today. It's been very, very disappointing. Absolutely no doubt about that. So because there are many cricket lovers like me actually who are looking forward for an exciting series, and a very tightly fought series where the honors will probably be shared a little with the host, and then one odd game or something that actually we pick it up, and then actually I was expecting a 1-0 series win for India, so which did not happen. So all the very best to the team. So I hope that they kind of doing a lot of tinkering around with the 11 also is not right. So they need to stick with whomever they have confidence in. So if they have confidence in Rohit Sharma ahead of Ajinkya Rahane, then okay, let that be so. But Ajinkya Rahane actually has in the post Rahul Dravid era is actually the best overseas test cricket play. I mean, the best test batsman whom we have today. Keeping him out of the 11 actually looks a little odd, and especially when we are playing overseas. So I hope the management sits around, puts on their thinking cap, and tries to come up with the right 11. I mean, I also understand why Virat Kohli got a little upset the other day in the press conference when people asked him that, I mean, why aren't you playing the right 11? Because it's very tough. I mean, actually, as he rightly said, when you're captaining a side, you pick the people whom you think are going to make the cut. And people at this level, actually, when they are at the international level, whomever, actually, when you take a 16-member team, all the 16 actually are supposedly the best. I mean, they I mean, don't forget that actually we have picked up 16 out of 125 million people over here, right? So all the very best to the team, Indian cricket team, and I hope they come out of the Test series 2-1. Okay, thank you.